Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layout, and I can't believe we made it to 4,000. I have 4,000 subscribers on my channel. When I started my channel back in 2018, I don't know that I could have ever thought that this is where I would be, but I am so excited to have each and every one of you guys here today. In this video, I am obviously going to be putting away some layouts. A majority of these layouts are from March Madness. I did 31 days of Disney layouts back in March, so I had a ton of layouts that need to be put away. This first set is actually layouts that I have been neglecting since like October. Nicole and I started the Dark Side Challenge last summer, and I've gotten away from it, and I'm so sad that I did, because here I am with 27 layouts that need to be put away. And that doesn't include the Disney layouts. These are just the layouts that haven't been put away since October, probably closer to November. That big stack of layouts that are over on the side there are the Disney layouts that I need to put away, and I'm going to give you a total for that in just a second. The Dark Side Challenge does have a playlist listed below with all of the details, but I am hoping to get back into it. When I was getting close to 4,000 subscribers, I decided that I would post in my group a Q&A, so some of your questions will be answered in this video today. One of the questions that I've gotten recently is about adding flip-flops to my layouts. So I did decide to show you guys that here. I just put this layout away in my album, and I have a 4x4 flip-flop that is going to flip to the top. So what I like to do is to line up the bottom of the photo with the bottom of the photo that is on my layout. I always make sure that the photo is all the way to the bottom of the flip-flop so that it lines up properly. I did not speed this process of the video up. This is in real time, so you can see that I do take a little bit of time to make sure that the bottom of the photo is lined up. Once I get it down, I'll use my finger to press over the adhesive. Sometimes I'll pull out my brayer as well. I'm going to show you multiple ways to add the flip-flops, but they're all the same concept. The different ways that I'm going to show you is ones that flip down and ones that flip to the left and the right. One of the questions that I got in my Facebook group for this Q&A was about my albums and my page protectors. I do purchase my albums from Hobby Lobby as well as my page protectors. I tend to wait until they have a 40% off the Paper Studio products, and then I will purchase the albums as I need them. My mom is also really good about finding great deals, and sometimes she'll go and find albums for really cheap that are on clearance. We just recently did that, and I was able to get a total of 4 albums. However, after I started putting these layouts away, I realized that there are some years that are going to need 3 albums. My albums are usually set up based on the year, and I have the same color album per year. So this particular pink album here is 1 year, and I usually do January to June and then July to December. There are some years that I have a ton of layouts. 2020 is one of those, just simply because of the craziness that happened in 2020. I just picked up 3 albums for 2020 at Hobby Lobby because they were having a sale. So when I do the 3 albums per year, I will do 4 months in each year. I always pick up page protectors when they're on sale as well at Hobby Lobby. I know that some people don't prefer Hobby Lobby because of the quality. I've never really had an issue with it. And I think I've said this on multiple different Facebook groups. This hobby is for me. It is not something that I expect that my family is going to keep all of these albums after I'm gone. I know a lot of people do preserve the memories, hoping that they will last a lifetime. I don't really care about that. I enjoy the scrapbooking process, and the amount of albums that I have is outrageous. And if my family decides that they want to have a bonfire after I pass away with my albums, I am perfectly okay with that. I highly doubt that they will, but it's an option for them, and I have told them that. On this layout, the flip-flop is going to flip down. So instead of lining the photo up to the bottom, I'm going to line it up at the top. Once I get the flip-flop aligned to the photo, I will do the same process of using my finger and a brayer to make sure that it is down. Like I said, it is the same process, but I did want to show you multiple ways that I do it depending on how the flip-flop is going to flip. As I was going through some of these layouts, I did realize that a couple of them I couldn't put away. The month in review and the creating with collections that I'm doing with Nicole both need to stay out for the entire year or until all of them are done. Another question that I got was, will I have a dedicated album just for month in review? Or will I have my month in review layouts with the rest of them? I do not plan to have a separate album. They will go in whatever album I'm working on. So for this year, I'm working on 2024. So they will go in the 2024 album. I haven't decided if I'm going to add it to the front of the month or the back of the month. I've asked a couple people in regards to how they put their month in reviews in their albums, and I've gotten both ways. One person said that they put it at the beginning of the month as an overview of here's the month to come. Another person told me that they put it at the end of the month as a review of here's everything that happened this month, and I haven't decided which one I like. When I was putting away this zoo layout, I realized that the date was wrong because this layout has the same date as the other layout and we are wearing completely different outfits. So I had to bring it back into my room, and what I decided to do was bring in this little label. I really like picking up labels from LA Studios because I feel like their labels are really nice. They have a bunch of different sizes, a bunch of different colors. They do have stickers that you can actually purchase, and they also have printables, which I think I might invest in. So I just added the label down, added the correct date on that label, and then reattached the enamel dots that were there. I also brought in the other zoo layout because this one is going to have a flip flap. This one is going to open to the side. So I'm doing the same process of where I am lining up the photo, but this time it's going to be on the right-hand side of the photo. So basically you want to make sure that you're lining up your photo to the opposite side of wherever the adhesive is on your flip flap. I use a ton of flip flaps and I love the versatility that it gives me by adding additional photos to my layout without taking up additional real estate. In my Facebook group, Julie brought up the fact that there were many YouTubers that were no longer creating content. And so she asked, what keeps me motivated so that we can ensure that we don't lose me as well? I will tell you that I enjoy this hobby. I did take a really large break, just over a year, basically because Eli had moved in with me and that was just a lot to readjust to. It wasn't just about having a new person in my home. There was a lot of things that we had to take care of in regards to him moving in. He was 9 years old when he moved in with me. That's a lot on a 9-year-old to be uprooted from where he was living and then coming into a home where there was a lot more structure than what he was used to. So my scrapbooking did take a back burner so that I could handle that. But I will tell you that the things that I enjoy the most about creating content is I love seeing comments from you guys. Even if it's a simple comment about what you enjoyed about the layout or how you would do a scrap lift and maybe add something to it or change it up. Those comments that I get on my channel do motivate me and do drive me to want to continue to create content. So just keep doing what you're doing and I will keep doing what I'm doing because I absolutely enjoy this hobby so much. Creating videos isn't just about inspiring you guys. I think I've mentioned it a couple times in my videos before about the fact that I like that this video that I create on my channel is a companion to the layout. I don't care what happens to these layouts once I'm gone. I do feel like having the digital version of the layout along with me speaking about the details of the layout, because I do feel like the video provides more context. I always have more journaling, and I'm putting that in quotation marks, in my videos than I do on my layout. So Pamela from my Facebook group asked if I had been to any parks outside of the country or on a Disney cruise. I have actually only been to Disneyland. I've been to both parks in California, and I have been on one Disney cruise. Both of those things were with my ex. Because of the circumstances around that, I don't have the best memories on either one of those adventures. We went to California on 2 separate occasions to visit Disneyland and California Adventure, and we went on a cruise. And I haven't scrapbooked a lot of that because it's all stuff that I'm still working through. I would love to visit all of the Disney parks. That is definitely a bucket list item for me. Nell from my Facebook group asked if I have any other hobbies besides scrapbooking. And when asked how I get so many layouts done or how do I get so much done for my channel, I often say the same thing that I'm going to say in regards to Nell's question. I have no life. I enjoy scrapbooking a lot, and I do spend a lot of time in my scrapbook room. I would say that I'm in my scrapbook room at least 5 times a week. This is my dedicated hobby. Nicole and I often joke about the fact that I am so hyper-focused into scrapbooking, and she does have other hobbies that she's like, I need you to find something else because you're surpassing me in regards to the layouts that you're completing. Because we'll both start a layout together when we're video chatting, and later on I'll message her and be like, here's my finished layout. And she's like, yeah, I haven't even glued photos to the paper. So scrapbooking is definitely my main hobby. I would say that being a Disney adult is also another hobby that I have. During the summertime, I spend a lot of time in the water. I love being in the water. Being a Floridian, I love the sunshine. The summertime, it is extremely hot. And the best way to handle that is to be in the water. So the beach, the water parks, the springs, the pool, anything that I can just float on a float and just relax and have the sun beating down on me. I just love that. So to answer Nell's question, do I have other hobbies? Not really. This is a big hobby for me. So this is Eli's album here, and this is another album that I am going to have to purchase a second album for. I went to Hobby Lobby. They did not have this green album anymore, so I'm going to have to find a different one. I think that I have finally beefed up his baby album quite a bit. So I was able to get all of the layouts completed in one night, but after I put away all of the non-Disney layouts, my back was really starting to bother me, so I decided that I would take a break, and I thought I would label all of my albums, and so that I could show you guys them being labeled as well as where I store them. I print out my labels in Canva. I just create a text box that is the same measurement as the panel that's on the side of the albums, and then I add the year in a really bold font. For albums that have more than just the year in it, those are mainly my travel albums, I will type the subject at the top. For the one that I did here, it says The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and then it has the year. And I do the same thing for all my travel albums or my specialty albums. Most of the time, all of my layouts are stored in the yearly album. The only time that I will have their own album is if it is a vacation, or for this Harry Potter one, this was Eli's 11th birthday, and I took, I think, over 300 photos just in that one day because we were at Universal and we were doing all of the Harry Potter experience stuff. So then I just cut down the labels to the correct size and add them to my spines of my albums. I store my albums in multiple places in my home. My most recent album stored right below my TV in my living room. I have a Kallax cube from IKEA, and on the bottom right-hand side, the very last cube has 2025. And then going backwards until it no longer fits, which I actually had to reorganize them a little bit. They did have back until 2016, but because of the additional albums that I added, I've actually moved my 2016 albums into my scrapbook room. You can see here what I was talking about in regards to how I have them stored underneath my TV. I have made a pile for each one of the albums that I'm going to label. I just stick the label right inside of the metal piece that's on the side of the album. You'll notice that the brown albums at the top, they do not have a spine label, and they're just not labeled. I know that they are 2017 because of the order that they are in on my shelf. So this is my most recent albums, and it's how many of our albums will fit in this Kallax cube. In my scrapbook room, on the bottom shelf of my Kallax cube, I have another row of albums. I was showing you guys here how much I had to trim off because these things have to be the exact size for them to fit inside those labels. So in my scrapbook room, I have 2008 until 2016. I also have Eli's baby album and Malachi's baby album. And then I also have my album for A Day in the Life, which I did that years ago. In my scrapbook room as well, on the top shelf of the closet, I have my very first albums that I ever created. So those albums are in the post-bound type scrapbooks, and they're much smaller. And I have made the executive decision that anything before 2008, I will not be scrapbooking. Those photos are done. I do not want to open up those post-bound albums and try to put additional layouts in it. I feel like I have enough albums already from 2008 and on that I don't need to worry about those previous ones. I then also have another Calyx cube over by my front door. And in that Calyx cubes, there's other items, but I also have my Disney albums. I currently have 4 Disney albums and I have red, black, red, black. I'm going to open up 2 additional red, black albums in this video. And then I also went and just purchased another red, black album. So I have a total of 8 Disney albums right now. So I did slow the video down here just a little bit so that you could see my setup. You can see that I have all of my travel albums in that same color teal. And then all of my year albums are color based. And you can see that I have 2 albums for each year. And some years do have 3 albums. And 2017 has 4 albums. But this is my setup right below my TV in my living room. The albums that are over on the far right-hand side are albums for my friends that I create. When I was on design teams before I took my break, I was in need of additional photos. So I did create several scrapbooks for my friends. Now I'm going to start going through my Disney layouts. I will say that all of my layouts that were non-Disney had dates, and I was super excited about that. There was that one issue with the zoo layout that had the wrong date, but I was so proud of myself for having all of my layouts dated. When it came to my Disney layouts, that was a different story. I do want to give myself kudos because the layouts that did not have dates were layouts that were about specific things, like a parade, the flower and garden, topiaries, things like that. While obviously I do have dates for them, I don't know that I want to date them specifically for that particular day. So I needed to go back and really think about what I want to do with those layouts. When I'm putting my layouts away, I start with just putting them in a pile for the year. So over on the far corner is 2025, and then I have 2024. 2023 is right in front of me, and then I go backwards that way. A majority of these layouts are using Kelly Bell design products, and I'm so glad to be on their design team because I have been able to get so many Disney layouts completed. So another question that came up in my Facebook group was how many layouts was in this stack. I posted a kind of funny picture of me holding up all of the layouts. So I have a total of 65 layouts that need to be completed. 4 of them did not have dates. So I'm really proud about that. This is me being frustrated because I went to put this double page layout away and I've already completed a single page layout. I was so frustrated. And this is actually from my Disney cruise. So like I mentioned before, there's lots of stuff that go with that. This is one of the red albums that I have for my Disney albums. And I'm just trying to figure out where I need to put the layouts. You can see here that this black album is pretty full. So I went ahead and opened up the red and black album that I had already purchased from Hobby Lobby the last time I had gotten albums. And then I just recently picked up another set. So I do have another set that's still in the packaging, ready to go when I'm ready to put some layouts away. I'm going to transfer some of the layouts over from the black album because I had just put all of the layouts that I had completed in that album because I was just about to add another 38 layouts to this album. I'm so excited to have reached 4,000 subscribers. I just can't believe how many of you guys are inspired by me and want to follow along with me. I did say this in my 3,000 subscriber video, but I do get some thumbs down from time to time. And while I know that not everyone likes my content, and that's perfectly fine, I would like to know why you gave me a thumbs down. So if you didn't like the content, feel free to also leave me a comment, because it might be something that I can change. I remember when I first started out, I did speak really, really fast, and somebody had made a comment about that I sounded like I was out of breath constantly. I feel like that is constructive feedback, and I took that information and changed up the way that I did my voiceovers so that I didn't sound that way anymore. As you guys can see, Eli had just made an appearance in the video. He's actually getting ready for bed. He had to walk the dog and brush his teeth and do those things. Sometimes when I glance at him, I'm just surprised at how tall he is and just how different he looks from just the few years that he's lived with me, especially when I'm looking at layouts from when he first moved in with me back when he was 9 years old. He's now 14 and we're finishing up middle school. He's going to start high school next year. And we are definitely in the teenage years. So you may have noticed that we have a new dog. This is Bo. He is also one of our regulars. He usually just tends to stay with us for the night. He'll come over and just spend the night with us. They tend to do a lot of day traveling, so he's definitely one of our regulars. I feel like he looks exactly like Sirius Black from Harry Potter. He will give you a hug. He can stand up and have his front paws on your shoulders, and he is as tall as I am when he does that. But he's also a lovable, silly dog, so we love having him. And we have quite a few regulars now. We've been doing Rover for just over a year, and Eli wants a dog so bad, but I feel like this is a great compromise. I did also want to remind you guys that I have a ton of playlists on my channel. I have a playlist for basically anything that you can think of, from all the companies that I scrapbook with, to include Doodlebug, Simple Stories, Echo Park, as well as all of the holidays. So I have a Halloween/fall playlist. I also have a playlist that includes all of my water layouts, so anything that involves the pool, the water parks, or the beach. I have playlists that are girl-centric, and I have playlists that are boy-centric. If you want to binge watch my channel, the playlist is the way to go, because you can find a playlist that you maybe want to check out, and then you can just hit play all, and it will play all of the layouts for you. I love being able to binge watch people, and if I really enjoy their style, I definitely want to watch several of their videos, and this is a way for YouTube to just continuously send you the same person's video over and over again. So at this point in the process, my back is screaming at me. This is why I hate waiting for this long to put the layouts away. But definitely with March Madness, I was hyper focused on getting a layout a day up, and that is very overwhelming. It's also a little bit harder for content creators to put their layouts away right away. I know I was speaking with somebody and they were like, oh, I just put my layout away as soon as I'm done with it, because they did not have the space to be able to keep the layouts out. And I completely understand that. And before I created my channel, I was the same way. They immediately went in the album. But now I have to wait for them to go up on my channel. I have to finish the journaling and then take pictures of them so that I can have promotional content for Instagram and YouTube and my Facebook group. So unfortunately, sometimes my layouts do tend to pile up because of all that back end stuff. And that's why I really want to get back into the Dark Side Challenge with Nicole, because that was giving me that monthly push to make sure that my layouts were getting in the album and I don't have this huge stack of layouts that need to be put away. Now, when I am putting my layouts away, I do tend to put multiple page protectors inside of the albums as well, unless I know that the layout is going to sit right next to it, as if it's the same day or the next day. I tend to just go ahead and put 2 additional page protectors in the layout so I have a bunch of blank spaces. I do feel like my albums are never complete. I don't think that I have any albums that are complete except for the ones that are before 2008. And that's more of the sense that I am no longer willing to put any layouts in that, as opposed to having more pictures that could go in those layouts. I do have 3 shelves in my scrapbook room that are dedicated to layouts that need to be put away. The first shelf has a label that says it needs something, and this is where they go right after they're completed, and it usually means that I need to add journaling to them, or I need a date or things like that. And then I have a shelf that's labeled not up on YouTube, and these are for the layouts that are complete. Everything is done on them. It has journaling, but I haven't taken the photos of the layout, and so I need to do that. And I tend to do that in bulk because I have to go outside to take the photos. I do have a table set up out there. I bring my poster board that I have as a backdrop, so I can take multiple pictures at the same time when there is good lighting outside. And then the last shelf is ready to be put away. So these are the layouts that are already photographed, already have everything on them. They're already on my channel, and I just need to put the stack away. And it's not that big of a space, so I do try to limit myself in regards to not letting it go outside of that area. I will tell you it was a little disorganized because I did go outside of the space that I have available. When I was taking a look at my analytics, because I do follow that a lot, I noticed that my analytics are pretty high in regards to the watchers that I have that are subscribed to my channel. About 75% of the people who watch my channel are subscribed to my channel. So if you are finding this 4K celebration video and you are not subscribed, if you will hit that subscribe button, especially if you are a double page scrapbooker who enjoys lots of photos on your layouts. Also, if you are on Facebook, I do have a Facebook group. The Facebook group is for me to share the behind the scenes of scrapbooking. So you will be able to see in my Facebook group when I am working on a layout, and I will show you guys sneak peeks of things that are coming.
I also wanted to remind you guys that I do have affiliate links linked below. The affiliate links are for scrapbook.com as well as Cherry on Top and My Favorite Things. By using these links, I receive a very small commission. There is no additional charge for you to use these links. So if you are making a purchase at any one of those stores and would like to support my channel, if you go to the description section of this video, as well as every single video on my channel, you will find those affiliate links. Just go ahead and click on that and it will take you directly to either scrapbook.com, Cherry on Top, or My Favorite Things, and then you can just shop normally. The commission I get from that is very small, but every little bit helps support my channel, and I really appreciate that from you guys.
I wanted to show you guys one last technique with the flip flaps, and unfortunately I turned on my camera, but I forgot to hit record. What I'm showing you here is that you can stack your flip flaps on top of each other. I had multiple pictures of the animals from the safari ride, and I didn't want them to take up more real estate than what was necessary on my layout. So I laid the one photo down to the layout, and then using that same technique, I laid a flip flap on top of it, and then laid another flip flap on top of that flip flap, still lining it up with the edge of the photo. This layout ends up having 4 flip flaps, 2 flip flaps with the animals that are stacked on top of each other, and then 2 flip flaps over on the right hand side. I really like how that 3x4 card covers up the photos because it gives your eye a place to rest, but it matches the background paper. So both of those flip down, and then the photos of the animals flip over to the side.
I am so close to being done. I just have a few more layouts to put away, but there was one more thing that I wanted to tell you guys, and I feel like I've said that a couple times this video, but I do have some really fun things in works for you guys. I do plan on opening up an Etsy shop where I am going to be selling some of my Canva templates. You guys know that I have one template that I've already created. It is in my Facebook group. It is for using Canva to resize your images down to a 3x4 or a 2x2 or a 4x4, very similar to what you can do in the Project Life app, except it's on Canva. So I do have those templates for free in my Facebook group. However, I am going to start selling additional templates over on Etsy with lots of different ways that you can print out your photos, keeping some of them in a 4x6 size where you have multiple photos, and then being able to also print some of them out and cut them apart. So stay tuned for that.
And now I have some bonus content from you guys. You may have noticed that I have been using this spinner wheel to pick out my layouts. And I actually had a question come up on one of my other videos about the spinner wheel and what is it. I did explain it a little bit in my Facebook group, but I don't think that I've actually explained it very well in my videos. I saw somebody use this spinner wheel for multiple different things. People use it to pick out winners when they have contests and things like that. And I really wanted to incorporate it. I was talking with Nicole and she gave me this idea of just putting all the layouts that I have planned on the spinner wheel. So if you look over to the right-hand side, all of those that are listed are photos that have been printed. They are paired with a sketch and a collection. I attend a monthly crop. In that crop, I do not take anything to Scrapbook because I don't want to take my camera equipment. So I spend that time planning out layouts. I also don't print at home. I use Walgreens to print, and usually they have sales, and most of the time with their sales you have to order 75 prints. So I will plan out multiple layouts until I get to 75 photos, and then I will send them all to Walgreens. And this is what has accumulated over the last year. I have a video that talks about the spreadsheet that I use. I will link it below for you guys. I love that spreadsheet. It gives me the opportunity to plan out layouts to match up sketches and collections with those photos. However, the amount of layouts that I have planned out is a lot. So when you see the wheel in the beginning of my videos, just know that I don't want to decide which layout to work on. So I have taken away free will in regards to that. I also wanted to show you guys my very first album that I ever completed. Back in 2004, I was getting ready to graduate from Florida State University, and I wanted to document my senior year. I knew about Creative Memories, but I was a college student who didn't have a lot of money. So all of my supplies came from Michael's, and I did have a circle cutter from Creative Memories. I've had it that long. It's an amazing tool. I love the circle cutters. But this was basically how I started out. I had that really thin copy paper. I would usually only have one sheet of it, and I would somehow find a way to stretch it to be a double page layout. I remember splurging one day and buying this really huge paper pad. I think it was like $20. And I'm telling you, as a college student, $20 is a lot of money. And it was monochromatic paper. So it had every color of the rainbow, and it would have like 6 different patterns from that color. And I felt like I had won the lottery with the amount of paper that I had. I do have this one random layout from my first car that I didn't scrapbook until much later. So the style looks so different than the rest of them. Back then, it was more about just getting a ton of photos on my layouts and not really having a design concept in mind. And I look back through this album and I just am amazed at how far I have come. All right, guys, that is it for this 4K celebration. Thanks so much for listening to me ramble and get out all of the answers that you guys asked in my Facebook group. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you want to see even more double page layout inspiration with a ton of photos, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.